Welcome to the 2019 USL Championship Playoffs. Hellacious rain tonight. Unbelievably, it's the 5th year of Louisville City FC, and this is their 12th home playoff game. Tonight, they sneak in as the number 4 seed and take on the 5th-seeded Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tonight's pregame brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, you look at the bracket for the full championship playoff structure, and the play-in round is already over. That doesn't mean, even though you know the other game tonight, you can look ahead.
Got to give an opportunity to the fact that number 10 and number 9 actually got through. Birmingham Legion, Charleston Battery, good for them. They get a chance to go forward and play with the big boys. But let's focus in on this match. It doesn't matter how Louisville got here. They're here. Apologize, Eastern Conference. Louisville City gets another home game. And one guy that I really want to see step up has got to be Paco Craig. Coming back from suspension into that back four. He's a guy that has really led them over the past few years. But his play recently has been a bit of a seesaw. I need him to raise that level to have success.
He is our player with the most potential. It's sponsored by Corsair Charities, showing children their potential instead of their obstacles since 1923. So he's at center back for Louisville tonight. For Tampa Bay, it's a little bit about what they are missing.
Spoiler alert, Andrew Tinari. He is the one that they have been missing. Guess what? They're going to miss him again. He's not in the starting 11, but it's not about him. It's about the space that they need someone to occupy in an attacking midfielder role. This is Andrew Tinari back in that 1-0 win earlier this year. 1-1 draw. Look what I did there. And look him step in behind. Just occupies the space. Watch him slide in between Tosh and Speedy Williams. Quick little touch. Far post finish. That's their opening goal. Lou City gets the equalizer in the second half. Let's fast forward a little bit. And now they don't have Tinari. This is in the 2-2 draw just a few weeks ago. This isn't a bad run by Steinberger down in the corner. This is a bad run for the Tampa Bay system. They don't have the presence in the middle of the field. When this ball comes all the way back across, not a bad change. You just don't have a playmaker in the middle of the field. No magician whatsoever. Lou City stands him up. You go the other way. You have to have someone willing to take the reins in the middle, be that maestro, go from point A to B and finish it off at C. They've been missing that.
Nobody led more laps this year in the East than Tampa Bay. 11 weeks they were top. Louisville twice reigning champions. You're going to want to miss this one. It's coming up next.
It's a simple truth. There is no better place than where you are right now. Celebrate the moment. Feed the wolf.
We're on a Toyota USA road trip in the new 2020 Corolla.
So they're calling this the greater than ever Corolla. It's pretty easy to see why.
Yeah, it's got more power, better MPG, and unbelievable styling.
Also Toyota Safety Sense 2.0.
Yeah.
Standard. Don't have to pay extra. That's always nice.
Now, get up to $1,000 cash back on Corolla.
Or a low mileage lease for just $159 a month.
It's my turn to drive.
Nope.
Toyota, let's go places.
We are those searching the unlimited, the unrestrained. Those that understand that life is a pursuit. Feed the wolf.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Standard joke is the helicopter pilot gets nosebleed above 1,000 feet. Presently, we have 9 helicopters that we own. Probably the busiest time of the year, we're probably up to about a dozen aircraft. We're a very diverse company. We do construction, lifting.
Obviously, you guys do things like crop spraying. When you're flying this helicopter at 6 feet above the corn, things like wind could be a big problem.
The wind can obviously drift you right into the obstacles that can lead to disastrous results.
Jim, we know that it has been an unbelievably wet 12 months.
Planting soybeans with a helicopter, never really heard of. On the ground, it's too wet. So it's either plant by helicopter or have nothing growing.
What does an accurate forecast mean to you?
In many cases, it saves a job. It affects everything we do, Mark.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But Family Allergy and Asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
GE Appliances welcomes you on field for tonight's game broadcast. of the USL Championship playoffs. Louisville City playing host to Tampa Bay Rowdies. Louisville's advanced every single home playoff game they have ever had. Tonight's starting lineups are presented by UPSjobs.com. Here's an idea of what John Hackworth might put out there. Notably, Del Piccolo, their captain, is available off the bench.
This will switch. Obviously, what you're going to see is Speedy Williams is going to step back into the middle. He'll play in the holding midfielder position. Niall McCabe will drift out to the left. Brian Ownby will jump up top. Antoine Hopino, he might be the biggest key factor out on the wing. But more importantly, when these two sides clash, things are going to get pushed to the interior. Why is that going to happen? Real simple. Injury and suspension. Leo Fernandez not in. He is still recovering from his injury. Malik Johnson picks up a red card in the 68th minute from Hartford. You're going to push Caleb Richards to the left mid. Afram Taku goes to the right. Kwadwapoko Oduro in the middle. More importantly, number 7. This is the role we were just referencing. Jan Ekra. He has to find a way to bridge the gap between the defensive unit and the boys going forward. That is the area that they have been lacking in the most.
Lineups brought to you by UPSjobs.com. It is a rainy night in Louisville, and so perhaps what has been a burning fire in Louisville over the last 5 years, this incredible franchise coming out of the ashes into professional prominence in the USL Championship, might end on a rainy night. They certainly hope not. Number 4 seeded Lou City, number 5 seeded Tampa Bay Rowdies. We're underway in Kentucky. Be a throw for Tampa Bay. Devin, this was not great form for Neil Collins' boys at the back end of the year. They finished 4 without a win. They lose at Hartford on an absolute painful blow from Vucic in the 4th minute of stoppage time that takes them out of a home playoff game. And yet they're tasked with trying to get this back on track right now.
Crazy when you look at the final 5 matches and what it could be. Not necessarily layups, but they could have gotten some points out of that. The only one they proved it against was Bethlehem Steel in the 6-1 win back on September 21st. You think, okay, this is headed in the right direction after the Ottawa loss. Lou City slowed them down. Loudon and the world beaters that they were down the stretch pushed them off to the side. I don't mind the draw against Indy, but you cannot lose on the road to Hartford Athletic. And now you just wonder, have the wheels come off? They're hoping not. There are a lot of moving pieces for this team right now. We talked about the suspensions, the injuries, and a lot of rotation in that starting 11. 4 new faces from the last time out.
Jimenez, the smudge off on the left, returns it to Tosh. It's a rainy night this evening. Winds 15, 20 miles an hour much of the evening. And it's only projected to get worse. Rasmussen plays it up the left-hand side. Speedy Williams is there. Pat McMahon. What a game changer he's been, and you wouldn't necessarily think that on its face. Pat McMahon coming in and changing the game. He certainly has. Jimenez.
Nice to see him back in the lineup, coming back from injury. How many guys can you say that about Lou City this year? Seems like everybody at one point in time has made their way off of the depth chart. But John Hackworth and his squad getting him back in, and he's a guy that, with all due respect, I used Paco Craig because just felt like his level hasn't been up to expectation. But Pat McMahon is the guy that's right there in the talking points as well. He gives Oscar Jimenez the natural ability to go back to his normal spot. Left back position. Remember, they've alternated him over there out of necessity. Sean Francis steps out. Jimenez back in. He's been high.
Ownby finds that off Diakite. This will be a throw deep in Rowdy territory for Louisville. Tonight's Kentucky Lottery keys to the game. Remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the Popular Keys Scholarship Program.
Madness in the middle, Three's Company. What does that mean? Well, the boys in the middle have to make sure that they're continuously pushing the pace. Three's Company, let's go after them. Let's go after that 3-back line of Tampa Bay Rowdies. They'll compress themselves into 5, but it's the lone center backs you have to go after. Tampa Bay Rowdies, with all of the changes, injuries, suspensions, trust your system. And can Caleb Richards and Taku on the right side and left respectively, are they up for the challenge? Because if you're the Rowdies, you want to make sure that you stay true to yourself, push numbers to the outside. You're just not necessarily sure you can do it on the road against this stacked Lou City team.
Corner for Louisville, and they go short. Magnus Rasmussen, played up by McMahon. McMahon keeping play alive. Lifted again. This time for Ownby. Ownby tried the back heel, broke down. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. McMahon, Ownby. Devin, there were some pretty notable words in the lead up to this game. Rowdies player about field conditions leading into this. It is raining. It's been pouring for hours. It will continue throughout the game. And if you're a player in this game, that probably does come into your consciousness a little bit. You don't want to slip and give up a goal.
Some of it's super fun. You go after guys from 5 yards away, line them up, and have a nice little 50-50 challenge. And if you're an attacking player, got to go after one of the goalkeepers.
Can they keep this in at the byline? Did.
Especially John Mccarthy on this side of things. Going into the turf, just release it. Have a strike at him and let this come up off of it. The elements are going to come into play all night long. And for Lou City, based upon the weather reports, this is going to get worse as the night goes on. Chris Hubbard going to move on to this end. He's going to then have to deal with it. So while you have the chance, take it. Pull the trigger from distance. Speedy Williams, one of those guys that can come in. Of course, Magnus Rasmussen in the beautiful run of form that he's been in 2019. Have a go.
With board-certified allergists serving 16 offices throughout Louisville Metro and Southern Indiana. Relief always nearby at Family Allergy and Asthma, the official weather sponsor of Louisville City. You can visit familyallergy.com, and it is just brutal tonight. It's the kind of night where I don't know that John Hackworth would risk his pea coat for it.
No, even if you've got it with Scotchgard, it's just that pushes it away. It's not a full-on proper application. He knows he's got the wardrobe ready. This is when you go down to team gear, throw on one of those Adidas jackets, you know, maybe some Under Armour underneath to warm yourself up and just call it a day. You don't want to mess the nice stuff up.
Neil Collins knows the way. This is what it looks like overhead right now. Louisville has typically gotten 10, 12,000 for big games this year, but it's not going to be the case on this night.
Shades of the FC Cincinnati matchup in September of 2018. The start of the game, I mean, that was, to be honest, it was fun. You and I got to share some of the workload. You guys started it. I finished it off on the back end, but that was puddles all over the pitch.
I think back to the playoffs. Was it the quarterfinal between Phoenix and Swope 2 years ago?
2017.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm with you on that one as well.
Where you're looking at the field going, not tonight, my friends. Floated up. Nowhere near hoping. Oh, header back a bit dangerously. Snapped up by John Mccarthy, who might be the USL Championship's best goalkeeper, even looking through our rain-soaked kaleidoscope. Tosh. With Caleb Richards. Richards came in on loan from Norwich City beginning of this year. It's announced that they would partner up with Tampa Bay. A variety of aspects. Accra, maybe a bit of a surprise start in this game. It's only his 11th of the year, and Sean Barry got forward, win a corner for the Rowdies. He played as a wing player against Louisville earlier this year when they were missing some key pieces.
You can easily move him in. He dealt with some injuries of his own, rib injury, ankle earlier on. questionable for a lot of the season, and that's the biggest move right here, is they've actually pulled Caleb Richards back onto the back line. I'd prefer him to be there. Now the question mark is can those two on the left be the 1-2 punch?
Corner for Tampa Bay. Comes out to Kwadwo Poku. Barry. Richards. Poku away from Matsoso and hurling a ball over the top beyond Sebastian Guenzati, one of the league's best goal scorers, 18 in the regular season. And for Louisville, Chris Hubbard, their goalkeeper, 20 starts this year. It was Ben Lunt, it was Tim Dobrovolsky, trying to replace what Greg Ranjitsingh has done the last 2 years, leading the side to USL Championship finals and titles. McMahon seeking out Ombi. Diakite had a little bit of trouble with that and scuffs the clearance. Ombi catches up. Ombi floating it through, Rasmussen knocking it over, and the shot is on Hopino, the former Rowdy, just 4 months ago, hits it at McCarthy.
Napo Masoso screaming for this ball on the back post, and a terrible little turnover just inside the top of the 18 for the Rowdies. Lou City pounced on it. Well done by Brian Ombi to just push the pace here a little bit. Sees the tiny window, goes after it. Really difficult with all the elements at play to see everything in traffic. Hopino on the back end of it, and you could just see Masoso on the backside of everything, making that far post run. Probably the better option.
Good catch by Neil Collins. Those who don't know, he was a center back 18 months ago, and a darn good one at that, with nearly 600 appearances in his pro career. But chance to lead the side came as Stu Campbell was relieved of his duties. He's done a very nice job of turning this Rowdies side into one competitive for a title, which is the expectation that began before the Tampa Bay Rays got involved. Stu Sternberg, with their previous ownership, and Bill Edwards.
It's pretty interesting that we can kind of think about recent memory, how, okay, well, this is what he's doing with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Oh, by the way, over 60 appearances for them between 2016 and 18 before he gets promoted. And then you already referenced his ridiculous resume prior to coming stateside.
Ownby from distance, and it skips up on McCarthy. He's able to handle that. And to your point earlier, why not give it a little test?
Keep going, too. Why not? See the up-tempo from Lou City opening 12 minutes. Difficult for Tampa Bay Rowdies to play out of the back right now. Just notice everything is being pushed out to the side still, so they are trying to follow the leader in that sense. That's how they got here. And that's one of the things as a manager you think about, okay, well, if we're missing our two outside midfielders, starters anyway, Malik and Leo Fernandez, do we then shy away from that? That's a difficult ask of your team when you've done something one way all season long to now change it. Now it's different if it's scouting defensively and you want to rotate some pieces here and there. But going forward, because going forward affects their defensive backline as well, because of the way that they play. To ask them to change, it's very difficult for a manager to pull that trigger. So I credit Neil Collins to the fact that he's staying in the same direction that got them here, hoping that success will be down the road.
Not only those wide midfielders, but you hit it right at the outset, Devin. You're missing Andrew Tenari, who's been their best playmaker. And we asked Neil Collins about his return from injury. He was pretty frank with us. He's a guy who the energy is still there, but you know the rhythm has left a bit for him.
Remember, he missed 6 games mid-season, and then missed 4 at the tail end, basically end of September, or end of August, beginning of end of September.
They went 4-1-2 without him, unbelievably. But those were different times for the Rowdies. This taken by Louisville.
Different times, different teams as well. And that mid-season form, people coming off Open Cup play, that's a really difficult situation to be in. So they navigated the troubled waters, but this is all about the evolution. What is your next step as a team, and how do you get there? The problem is they've stayed in the same formation and philosophy. That's not a bad problem to have. The problem is coming off of that. Again, you don't have that presence in the middle of the field. Can it be Jan Ekra? Damodaro is almost always going to be the one that sits deeper. And Kwadwo Poku has shown us multiple times that he can run the gamut right up through the middle of the field, but he's not necessarily a 10. So someone's got to poke their head out and help get guys like Gwenzati and Mkasana up top a few more opportunities.
Jimenez. Pittsburgh is just taking a lead over Birmingham. That is less than a quarter hour in. If that scoreline remained, the winner of this game would go to Pittsburgh for the Eastern Conference semifinal. Floated to the backside and cracked back along after. Then lost over the end line. Louisville City fans don't want to be left out of the brand new Lynn Family Stadium. Season tickets are now officially on sale for everyone. Over 5,000 already been sold. You can go to loucity.com, call 502-LOU-CITY to learn more. And by the way, our deepest congratulations to the NWSL for picking a real winner in Louisville. It is going to be exciting times. An expansion team announced for 2021. And the top women's soccer league in the world is going to be coming to the Derby City. Louisville fans who are wondering if they can have success there can just look at North Carolina FC. Courage are doing just fine.
Necessarily sure there's a Paul Riley Jr. floating around the United States. If you are, we'll take you. That's what they're thinking.
John Hackworth was hesitant to the idea of coaching both teams at once. So my guess is that was a no.
I think that notebook of his would fill up really fast.
It sure would. But great for the city. Amanda Duffy, former executive for Louisville City, and one of the key leaders in the NWSL, helping to make the announcement with Brad Estes and the ownership group. So well done. Poku. Laduro playing back. He's been out since October the 4th with what at the time looked like a nasty ankle injury. To Masoso. What a goal-scoring run he's been on to close the year. Headed away from Ownby. Speedy Williams, who did score for Jamaica in Nations League play, most recent window. Holpino combining with McMahon. McMahon cutting around Richards. Williams. Ball floated back to McCarthy. That was creative in thought, but Rasmussen couldn't come up with something really magical.
Interesting when McMahon cuts this back inside that Opano does not run back around him. He actually just allows that space to stay vacant. There's a presence they could have gone after, maybe a ball down into the channel and attack that near post. Instead, you've got a lot of bodies just sitting, waiting anxiously for this to be served in. Good look moments ago at just all the rain coming down right now. So difficult for these guys to manage.
Gwenzati, great turn around Holpino. Barry. Poku. Pressure on Jimenez. It's a foul from behind on Ekra. Got to the point where Neil Collins said he felt like Jan Ekra was trying to prove it was a mistake not to start him in the middle of this year.
Good player for sure. One of the guys that Mike Jeffries actually quite complimentary of, saying that wish he could have kept his hands on him. He and Afamtaku both coming over to Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Accra there to take over. And Accra trying to get around a mountain of purple.
Just noticed there, both in the attacking movements of the Tampa Bay Rowdies as well as the composition of Louisville City on the defensive side of things. 7 purple shirts surrounding 2 attackers from Tampa Bay, and that's just not going to be a recipe to break this team down. Got to find a way to get more of you involved. The triangular play, much more of a presence, especially in terms of balancing act. You had one coming up through the middle, and okay, you get the look from Lucky M. Kasana. Of course, Lou City fans are going to be familiar with him. But where's the far post run where you can now stretch the game a little bit? If it's 2 of you running downhill against all of those jerseys in purple, that's a really difficult breakdown that is most likely not going to happen on a regular basis. And you have to have the discipline to step on it, pick your head up, and just wait for everybody else to help you and support.
Dev, how much of that hesitation is a result of the confines of the field and playing at Louisville? They gave up 2 goals early last time around that they were here a month ago, and trying not to shoot yourselves in the foot early in a playoff game on the road.
Some of it for sure. They're more so concerned about the elements right now because it's coming down so hard. They're thinking that opportunities are going to be even more limited compared to where they were just here. Remember, they basically had a 4-minute gap in the second half for Lou City where they lost that game. This team was cruising, up 2-0, up a man. That's almost guaranteed 3 points every single time. Tampa Bay Rowdies found a way to work back into it, and there were some silly mistakes by Lou City. But now, when you push yourself up high, you're thinking, okay, now what do I do that I've gotten this far? And they don't need to worry about that. Just calm yourself down, take a breath, and just survey your surroundings. Say, okay, we know what we are capable of. You just have to go out and execute.
Pittsburgh is taking a 2-0 lead, and it looks like Birmingham is
game.
going to have a short-lived
game. Forget it. At Highmark, 2-0.
Nico Brett, and then an own goal from Kyle Fisher at the 17th minute. And that is all she wrote for Birmingham's expansion season. Heck of a run, boys.
Bob Lilly's going to play an 8-1-1 now.
Is that 2 blocks of 4 or 1 block of 8?
No, they just all stand next to each other and hold hands, come on through.
McMahon, it's audibly coming down now. Holpino lost his footing, but recovers. Holpino has been in great form in the grand scheme of goal scoring lately. Holpino bouncing, that's punched away by McCarthy. Lost, Rasmussen still after it. Poku under pressure, and Poku lost it again. McMahon drove it along looking for Ownby. Yikes. Quick throw for Louisville. And this will be a goal kick.
All this started from Antoine Holpino on the sideline. Let's have a little dance. Get down tonight. Apologies, not necessary. Forgot something right there. Oh, poor guy. Caleb Richards, you're better than that. Great one-on-one battle on the line. And notice the goalkeeper, John McCarthy, not sure as to whether or not he can pick this up. Nice little punch off. And I don't mind, you just got to be careful. If you're going to come and not collect in that manner, make sure you're pushing it away from danger. Instead, he puts it right back into the mix.
Uh-oh, Ownby trying to strip it away from Tarek Morad, who won it all with Louisville in 2017, his 3rd year with the club. Played across, Rasmussen! It's happened again! Louisville leads at home in the playoffs. Same old song and dance.
The biggest question coming into this season for Rasmussen was, could he up his level, break into the starting 11? He's done that and even more. And you look back on that beautiful 2015 season, 8 goals, 5 assists. You think, okay, if we can get him anywhere near those numbers, we'll be happy. That is number 14 on the year. And just watch him make this run all alone in the middle of the field. The attacking presence was the question, but where is Damoduro? Kwadwo Poku, no one tracks Rasmussen right at the top of the 18. and all you have to do is put this on frame. The way things have gone in the opening 25 minutes, you just want to go after the goalkeeper. Even with a hop, skip, and a jump off the turf, redirected on, ends up in the back of the net, and most importantly, this team out in front once again.
Goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, and Louisville looking for another. Diakite drops in. Masoso wants it. It's Obi, and again Rasmussen doubles the lead! Shock and awe in Louisville. The Rowdies on their heels now.
John Mccarthy is furious with his boys in front of him, trying to calm everybody down. You just saw something almost identical seconds ago. Let's go to the wing again. They get in behind. Afram Taku gets beat. There's a rotation over by Diakite. Guess who? Even with the little flick of Brian Ownby, everybody is unmarked. 25 minutes in, 2 in the span of 90 seconds. This has really become rinse and repeat.
That's like 3 rinse cycles in a repeat. Goal brought to you by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. Well, Devin, if you're Tampa Bay, you're going, well, we've been here, and we've still found a way to get a 2-2 draw in Louisville. Will they be able to find that magic again? Corner lofted, header back post, and Morad almost stuck it to his former club.
One of the easier way to grab momentum in a match where you're struggling, you're on the road, the elements are up against you, even though both teams are dealing with is set pieces. Whether you're gifted to it or it's just a natural progression going forward, just have a conversation of what you've practiced on the training ground. It's a good way to grab a quick bit of positive play, go the other direction. Tampa Bay Rowdies now stay here. Don't let them out of this place, because the response over the next 5 minutes has got to be setting the tone for what this team is looking to do going forward.
Makes you wonder what kind of signal John Hackworth got. Both coaches were paying attention to the results elsewhere last week when seeds 4 through 6 were in flux over a 3-hour span. John Hackworth got the nod. He indicated from somewhere in the stands that the Rowdies had fallen in Hartford, opening up the door for them to get 3 points in the number 4 seed to play here instead of sunny St. Pete. I don't know who would want to play there on a night like this.
These boys pouring down rain. The field's here 60 degrees out, although they said the real feel is 53. I can tell you that man would rather be basking in the sun, but obviously being at home was the ultimate goal. You and I talked about what the playoff structure would look like coming down the stretch. Could Lou City fight their way into a top 4? I actually had them going undefeated 2-0-2. Instead, they go 3-0-1, and Tampa Bay Rowdies just fell on their faces. They've done the same thing here at the start of this game. Fortunately enough for them, still plenty of time to get back into it. John Mccarthy, conversations with his boys immediately after the goal. Neil Collins, though not going to be happy, he's not going to shy away from a challenge. He'll try and settle his boys down here, and again, you got to go back to what you're good at. Find the feet of your speedsters on the outside. Look at veterans like Guanzati up top, and of course, Damodoro in the middle of the field. Though young, still a very talented midfielder that can hold serve in the middle and help some of your boys on the offensive side get some momentum going.
Pittsburgh has added an exclamation point at Highmark Stadium. It's 3-0 inside half an hour. You wonder if Louisville and Pittsburgh are making an effort to go tit for tat with one another right now. Rowdies have very different ideas. 8 road wins this year, but most of that came in the early stages. It's a modern era record for the club. Ball lofted on the wrong side of M. Kosana. remarkable. Nico Brett scores again. In the East later on this night, Indy plays host to Red Bulls 2. Nashville play host to the Charleston Battery. That kicks off 8 Eastern. Indy and New York are kicking off as we speak. Turned there, Morad enough to take it back. Here's Guenzati. He's come up with big goal after big goal. This will deflect out for a corner.
This is one of those chances that we were talking about where allow some of the boys to come up from the back line. Diakite coming up. Quadrupoku will get in there. Just allow some of these bigger bodies to go mix it up. Set picks for each other, quick little rotation backside. Damoduro will sit right around the penalty mark.
Header snapped right at Hubbard from Guenzati.
That's not a bad little move either, where you just rotate lucky number 13 to the top. Notice Damoduro drifting to the back post. He gets in the way of the tracking runner. That allows the Uruguayan to get himself into an open position. Two of the better looks you've seen offensively for Tampa Bay have come off set pieces.
Hopino. Well, that cutback ball on that surface is extraordinarily difficult to defend. And Louisville's going to have to find a different trick in the bag after 5 years here when it ends and they move to maybe the crown jewel of USL soccer-specific stadiums a year from now. Jimenez. Masoso trying to put the Rowdies on skates.
There's a good look by Pat McMahon coming all the way back over. That quick little switch to open up this right side of the field is what they were looking for. They didn't have the presence. Took them a while to get into it.
Onby, Hopino. Good defensive effort. Knocked that out.
I'm Oscar Jimenez. I'm going to go play this quick, to be honest. I'd like to run down into the corner. Don't allow Tampa Bay to reset. See if you can go for the jugular right now and get 3. Nice little flick here. And if it not for the trailing run of Caleb Richards, who recognizes the threat coming from that back post run by Hopino, coming all the way to the near, that could be 3-0. Done by the Englishman to track all the way over.
Tosh again. Onby, ball finally hits the ground. Slide by M. Kosana into Tosh. M. Kosana with Louisville. Switch sides in the Antoine Hopino trade, player for player. Scored 4 times for Louisville and then 6 times in 18 games for the Rowdies. Traded back on June the 28th. A trade where both sides felt mutually beneficial.
Both guys making a little flopping. Seems like they've hit the system a bit better. You'd like to see some more out of Hopino, that basically scoring in 25% of his games. That's not the worst statistic you're going to see. Niall McCabe, just a conversation here with Oscar Jimenez. Actually don't mind a little step over. Let Jimenez come across, give it to him and have a go. Open this angle up. Wide open on the near post.
McCarthy on his toes. It is McCabe to the back post. Well, miss a minute, miss a lot in this game. Really, it was more like miss 90 seconds, miss a lot. 2 goals from Magnus Rasmussen after 13 in the regular season. Give Louisville a 2-goal advantage in the opening half an hour. Earlier today, the 4-5 game in the Western Conference was a bit of a shocker. Hell Monarchs 6-2 over Orange County. And Orange County's goal that some thought would get them back in it, the 2-1 scissor kick. Magnificent goal by former U.S. men's national team player Michael Orozco. Not enough to turn the tides, and the Monarchs are on. And Pittsburgh, with a penalty, has made it 4-0. And I think with Brett's hat trick at this point, we can make the argument that winner of this game will most certainly be going to Pittsburgh.
Still time.
Okay. I think Birmingham's hopes, sadly, have floated down to Monongahela. Richards. Rowdies have stabilized things here. Not off a Tosh. When you think about Louisville's ability to play at home in the playoffs, they have advanced every single time that they have hosted a game. They have never advanced in a road game in the USL Championship playoffs, but just simply in October, the numbers are staggering.
Another 55 minutes to make sure, first and foremost, they give themselves that opportunity. Up 2-0 at home. This should most assuredly be in the W column. And then you can start thinking about the next opponent, which is surely going to be the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Bob Lilly, which is so good. Come playoff time, this team seems to turn it up each and every year.
Ownby. Williams, 3-time USL Championship final winner. Red Bull and then twice with Louisville. Flicked back by Rasmussen, and here's Hopino going one-on-one. McMahon, Rasmussen. You know, Devin, truth of the matter, for the first time it feels like in a month, Louisville did not shoot themselves in the foot inside 15 minutes.
That was something that really plagued this team earlier on this year. 7, 8, 9 games where they had that stretch of conceding and having to fight their way back. The only time they were able to get a win was the Nashville match.
Ownby laying it off right at McCarthy. A blast from the outside back, Oscar Jimenez.
Good rotation, even on the right foot of Oscar Jimenez. But I credit John McCarthy on this one because even the window that's there is quite finite. John McCarthy has him centered so perfectly that even when this gets released, he has the ability to track near. He can also move to the far post. Caleb Richards is in the way as well. But that's a quality buildup from Lou City, and we referenced Pat McMahon coming back out. You have to have the ability to get Oscar Jimenez and Pat McMahon to stabilize this back line. But the look of them going forward is much different than what you saw earlier this year. They're basically sitting in a 4-1-4-1 right now, where Speedy Williams is occupying the 6th spot, doing battle with Jan Ekra. And when they send one, they'll push one side. They'll let Jimenez go. Speedy's not going to sit all the way with the center backs, but he'll sit just in front of him. And that's different than what you saw earlier this year. Talked about this earlier today, where Sean Tosh would sit in almost the middle of the center backs, creating a 3-5-2 of sorts. But now it's a much different balance, and it's credit to John Hackworth and his team, where they constantly are giving you so many looks over the course of the season. It's not necessarily jumping from one to another in each and every game, but they have a lot of versatility within this squad.
For Odoro, Diakite will trudge over. .38 minutes gone. This Eastern Conference quarterfinal. Guinzotti, Poku. It's a season that began with incredible promise for the Rowdies. Started unbeaten in their first dozen plus. First loss was what, that crazy Open Cup game in Oklahoma City?
Yep.
Finished 4-3.
That was probably the bigger surprise. It wasn't just that they lost, it was the minute that they did it, conceding 4 times, where just goal after goal being pumped into the back of the net. They exchanged blows for the better portion of 15 minutes, 4 goals, something like that.
Even after that, from weeks 11 to 22 in a 33-week season, the Rowdies were top of the Eastern Conference. No one led more laps than they did. And yet, here they are now, fighting for their lives on the road in Louisville in the opening round. Both sides, 4-5 game. Dikite. Poor pass. Eventually, we'll just change the graphic to say the winner faces Pittsburgh. But not yet. It's 4-0 in Pittsburgh right now. That's an excellent idea. Ownby going all the way too high for Hopino. All he had to do was hit the target, and it's 3-0. Kept by McMahon. And Akra goes into the challenge and immediately sees the same color as his jersey.
Rowdies fans aren't going to be happy here because he does get some of the ball, Jan Ekra. He also leads heavily with his studs. Dangerous challenge coming on Pat McMahon as McMahon tried to step back in here. The first one he gets, and as you come with the second, watch studs up the entire way. When you lead in that manner, it is always going to be troublesome. And look at the trailing leg as well, coming back around in a whipping-like motion. Yellow card for Ekra in a spot that they were really hoping this young man was going to be able to help push a few more opportunities offensively, but they have struggled in the middle of the field.
McMahon is back up. For what it's worth, Devin, I've been kind of no man's land here. I don't know what color those jerseys are. I just know that they pop. Are they yellow?
Old school, I would have called it Nike Neon.
Right.
Neon Nike.
I mean, they're
so
green.
Many, yeah, so many teams or organizations, brand, apparels. I don't know how to phrase that.
Okay.
That's why I have you.
Okay.
And you put it back on me. So many.
Devin, I don't know the
businesses.
difference between navy blue and black in certain lights, so.
Well, how about, what's the one floating around now? You had the dress, and now it's shoes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, they're going to know the difference between who's standing over this ball. Oscar Mena is asking for 10 yards. Niall McCabe now into it. For John McCarthy, two really talented ball strikers he has to be aware of. The left foot of Jimenez going to stand here to keep him honest. The way that they're lined up, look at all the boys on the back post. Is this enough intention where you feel like you're going to let Paco Craig run underneath this? Right now, no one's looking at him. Leads me to believe he's going to hit it.
Will be Niall McCabe. Akra. Wenzati. Taken away by Hopino. Pushed away by Poku. And a throw for Tampa Bay.
Based upon that service, he should have hit it. And Slugger fans, the referee got this right. Back off. There is a little deflection coming off Hopino. Well done. Just holding his defensive duties. That's something that John Hackworth really preached about. Kind of tail end of July, beginning of August. It was that counter-attacking defensive shape, how they could have done better. They've definitely anticipated what's going to be thrown at them. And one of the spots that the Tampa Bay Rowdies just haven't necessarily turned up the pace there. They've got numbers. They're just not going in the other direction fast enough. And yeah, Lou City's been the better team, but they have had some chances here they could have gone after. Just not the best decision-making going forward.
It's a good night to be in Scouse's house. That's the covered section off on the left-hand side. Many fans have taken to the concourse and taken the standing room only position. Hopefully the rain has stayed away from our camera lens for a few moments. Hopino going back. Louisville into the attack again. Laid over to Ownby. Ownby falls in front, and Louisville makes it 3. And the referee saying it won't count. Offside. A little scuff from Speedy Williams. And with that final touch, being in an offside position.
quick little deflection gets everybody. Thought Brian Omi was going to put this on his left, and sure enough, here's a good look at the back post run. He is offside. They're going to be frustrated with the fact that they don't make this three, but it's the right call by the referee. And to be honest, look at the back line once again, though. That's Tarek Morad, the right back, who, going into that North Carolina FC match a few weeks ago, that right side of the back line had really been isolated, and teams started to go after him. Morad shifting into the center back role, can obviously play on the left side as well. But just so much space for everybody to operate right now. You got to wonder what sort of communication is going on, or lack thereof, between guys like Caleb Richards, Sean Berry, and Taku and Morad on the right side. Because when you're transitioning to the defensive shape, it's got to be better. There shouldn't be this many bodies for Louisville City attacking you.
Berry.
The clock is stopped at 45 minutes. Official time is being kept on the field. The center referee has added a minimum of 1 minute.
One added minute
Sullivan University stoppage time
to this wild first half. Sullivan University stoppage time. Coming up at halftime, we'll give you a look around the Eastern Conference playoff bracket. Devin gives a few thoughts. Devin always has a few thoughts. Poku. A renaissance in his career. Poku! Almost gave this game its own renaissance right before the halftime whistle.
These beautiful runs are what you used to see out of him when he was the main man in the middle for Miami FC. And we said he could bridge this gap if you give him the spot. He doesn't have to be the one that's constantly going in that direction. Beautiful footwork. Guess who? Paco Craig gets caught, turned around a little bit. Excellent opportunity, just can't tuck it in on that far post. That's what you want to see out of one of your boys in the middle that's been struggling. You don't have that presence. There's going to be a conversation at halftime for Neil Collins right now about that lack of offensive threat. If Poku's going to be the one to step up, who's going to be the one next to him? Because there's plenty of boys on the bench right now that'll be happy to come off and get their feet dirty and wet.
Devin, let's be honest. This is a shocking scoreline at the break.
Never have seen it coming. You talk to me 0-0, maybe 1-0, and the fashion that it went down in, it's going to be a bad dressing room at halftime. But Neil Collins is going to spin this positively. He'll say, listen, 45 minutes, we only needed 3 minutes a couple weeks ago. So plenty of time for us to get back into it. But the belief has to start with your goalkeeper working forward, guys like Poku and veterans up top and Guenzati. You got to stay positive if you want to get a result out of this match.
Magnus Rasmussen under unenduring rain. 23rd minute, then the 24th. Good header in the stands. It's been a good night of soccer for Louisville. Tampa Bay's got work to do. Game on mouth guards. Halftime coming up.
When you're driving a legend, nothing gets in your way, work or play. The tough built-in-the-USA Tundra, the rugged Tacoma, and the ready-for-adventure 4Runner. For over 50 years, Toyota has built the best trucks money can buy. Trucks that legends are made of. Now, during Toyota Truck Month, get $1,750 cash back on any new 2019 Tacoma. Or lease a new Tacoma 4x4 double cab for $219 a month. Drive a legend. Toyota, let's go places.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Since 1923, COSAIR Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles. So they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support COSAIR Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
I was born in Louisville. 9,000 stories and 27 years later, I've seen this city evolve. Time goes by fast. I cover sports, but the goal is to write about the people, to find their truth. There's always a person involved or someone affected in every story. As a journalist, it's important to give unique perspective on all angles. I'm WDRB's Eric Crawford. My story is Louisville.
On the next Modern Family.
I could cry. Oh, don't cry. You'll streak your bronzer.
The big day is finally here. But this wedding is going up in flames.
I've been informed by the fire chief. We need to leave immediately.
Will they ever walk down the aisle?
This is a disaster. We have no one to marry us.
Dearly beloved, that is a problem. Thanks to $35 on the internet, you are looking at the good Reverend Philip Humphrey Dunphy.
Modern Family, Monday at 7 on WBKI, the CW.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But family allergy and asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family allergy and asthma.
Welcome to our Game on Mouth Guards halftime report. Louisville City 2, Tampa Bay Rowdies 0. And no matter how good you think Louisville City might be, how great they are at home, how many stars are above their crest, you did not see this coming on a rainy night in Kentucky. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, what this means in the scheme of the Eastern Conference bracket right now, those are seeds, of course. Battery, well, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
The way the night's going, it could be scores.
Right, yeah, well, fair enough. Battery getting through the play-in round, Birmingham getting through the play-in round. I mean, it was fun while it lasted for Birmingham.
And coming into the playoffs, with all due respect to all those managers, a lot of respect for those guys, what they've done. The 7-10, it was just too much, and especially for Birmingham Legion. So you go on the road. How are you going to start this off? Didn't start well. It's not going to end well either. Nico Brett, 13th minute, they get out in front. By the way, an own goal is going to be added. So within the opening 20 minutes, you go down 2-0. That's not the way that you want to start. It's a really difficult ask to go to high mark in general, yet alone the fact that you're now giving guys like Nico Brett the opportunity to get involved here. Nico Brett gets a goal in the 13th minute. He's going to get a second on his, which will be the third for the team. That's in the 27th. But let's track back to the own goal. That's hard. As a center back, you're tracking back in. You got to go up and win this ball. More importantly, the shout from the goalkeeper. You're coming off the line, Matt Van Oekel. You have to scream. If you're leaving your line, my ball, push everybody out of the way. And instead, they both get it wrong. Lucky number 3, but it's 2 for Brett. What a little flick. How pretty is that? His third one, penalty mark, hat trick, 34th minute. That's 4-0. And oh, by the way, let's add insult to injury. Jordan Dover and the +1 extra time. Hounds make it 5 at halftime.
So 5-0 Pittsburgh. Winner of this game will go there. Meanwhile, tonight, ongoing already, India and New York. Nashville and Charleston will kick off in about 5 minutes' time. Nashville, well, they're hot right now. They had first place briefly. Pittsburgh grabbed it in the final game of the regular season. What do you think?
If they lose, to me, this is one of the bigger upsets you're going to see. In the Eastern Conference, it would be the biggest upset. The difference maker here is, though, is that it's Charleston Battery. It's Michael Anhauser. Anhauser does what he wants when he wants. Again, only team in modern era to make the playoffs every single year. Thought they were going to miss out. Not the case. They win the play-in game. What a statement it would be to go on the road. For Nashville, their style, can they regularly produce offensively? Remember, this is playoffs. Yeah, I said it. Playoffs! You got to find a way to put balls in the back of the net. That's something they've struggled with all season long. Belmar, Rios, Lancaster, you put their totals from last year compared to this year's production, they're only halfway there. But they're going to meet them at the borderline, push themselves 90 minutes, see if they get one, get out in front.
This is playoffs. It's Indy. That happened in Indy. Indy 11 not playing at Lucas Oil. They're looking for their first playoff win in the USL Championship. Can Martin Rennie's side get it done? They have not lost a home game since July 4th, 2018.
The problem is they're not at home. They're at Michael Carroll Stadium, the Mike. Now remember, this team played there prior to coming to the USL Championship. They had a lot of memories, won a championship back there in 2016. One of the only teams in the USL, not just the East, but in general, to go undefeated at home. The Riverhounds are another one. But that home field advantage, Hounds gave up 7 in terms of draws. Indy only 4. Can they now do it where they don't have the dome? They don't have the turf. You got guys like Dane Kelly, Tyler Pasher, Ilya Illich. Lou City fans will remember him. They can give you enough of a look. But for me, one of these teams, whoever wins this match has got a real good shot at going to the Eastern Conference Final.
So it's going to be pretty crazy tonight. That's all going on in the Eastern Conference. It's all going on right now as Nashville is walking onto the field for their playoff opener and their USL Championship closer, potentially. And the Western Conference as well will line up on ESPN+. The fans who are here have taken refuge. It's a deluge. 2-0 Louisville over Tampa Bay. Got more halftime coming up.
North Texas Soccer Club, Greenville Triumph. Who will be the one? Going for goal, a great save from Zobek. Almaguer going for goal, pushed aside by Jay. Reflecting around, the shot coming, and it's in! The opening goal for North Texas. And there's the final whistle. North Texas Soccer Club, #1 in League One.
Dangerous now. Another shot for a handball. That one served in. Clever will take a shot. He fires it home. Header. In the ball. Oh, it's excellent finish. Right and in. Inside the box over there. Kluma. Shot. Tries to find Mancelli, who takes it out of the air and forces a brilliant save.
That's a great goal.
Post. Mordida puts it in.
He's going to take a shot, and Tampa is diving to parry it away.
Back in, finds the head of his man, and Reno has leveled.
Still Saxeni. It's a drive, and what a save by Matt Pickens.
Bodies in front of him, Penny picking out.
It's a soft day, and it's off the post and in. It's Freighters! New Mexico equalizes, and it dives offense.
Cutting back, Williams wins it. Seconds remaining, and that will do it.
Chip it up over the top. This ball's for Eddie Bolton. Eddie Bolton with a thunderous strike. Are you kidding?
Sion McFarland. Insurance has arrived for the win. Van Schaik steps up and he scores.
Welcome back, everybody, with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts. Let's take a look at news and notes from around the USL Championship. Conference quarterfinal weekend is underway. One team's already through. Two more think they're through, Devin, at this point.
Zico Lewis is hoping that they get another shot. Think about the amount of work that they're going to have to do on the road. That beautiful performance to earn Player of the Week, the goal and 2 assists. We thought they were going to squeak into 10. Let's move all the way up a little bit further. Let's go to 9th. Well, now you got to go to Nashville. In a rough place to play again. They do not give up points. And of course, 2019 USL Championship Final. Have the opportunity to listen to myself, Michael Watts. I'll be there with you, buddy.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It's too bad.
Let's take a look at scores from around the league with our Commonwealth Credit Union Roundup. And right now, boy, Pittsburgh and Birmingham, this has escalated quite quickly.
Of course, the Birmingham score was Birmingham 3, North Carolina 2. That was J.J. Williams, the loanee from the Columbus Crew, right at the death of things. There was so much sustained pressure at the tail end of that playing game. You felt like North Carolina was getting the go-ahead, quick little counterattack. And we mentioned earlier, Real Monarchs, they got 6. Unfortunately, Orange County only had 2, and when you don't triple your score, that's not going to be good enough. Red card right at the start of the second half by Harry Forster. Double yellow, to be fair, but not a good tackle, not a positive follow-up. Orange County will end their 2019 campaign.
All right, halftime here. And we've got highlights coming up. It's 2-0 to Louisville at the half.
More athletic, more refined, more sport, more utility, more performance, more traction, more confidence. Toyota has taken RAV4, the best-selling SUV in America, and redefined what an SUV can be. Introducing the completely redesigned Toyota RAV4. Now get 1.9 financing for 60 months on a new RAV4. Or a low-mileage lease on this RAV4 LE for just $199 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
When you step onto the field, it's not about what you've done, it's about what you do from here. Those early mornings, late nights, the discipline and determination. It's what separates the drills from the dream. It's what it takes to be a winning team. More than your number or the name on the back of your jersey, it's the nation you represent. Once you step into the light, everything comes into focus. And big moments happen on the biggest stage, covered by the biggest team. That's WDRB Sports, the source for college football.
Only on the CW.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But Family Allergy and Asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Welcome back. Game on Mouth Guards, halftime. First half highlights. It's going to be a little bit of Louisville City. It's going to be Louisville dancing in the rain today, Dev.
This was a struggle from the get-go. Ralph's mob is not going to be happy. The traveling contingency had to sit through all these elements, more specifically the 90 seconds that was Magnus Rasmussen. Beautiful run on the near post. Let's run it back. Quick little flick by Brian Obi, but still, it's the same progression you see by Louisville City. You see what it means to the fans. They're out in front once again. And a lot of times the numbers don't necessarily tell the tale of the tape. And that's not the case tonight. Louisville City has been the better team. They've had the better looks going forward, but there was some positive spots coming out of the first half for Tampa Bay. Not many, but Tampa Bay Rowdies were right there. Remember, you had the header by Guenzati off the corner right after the second goal, and of course the beautiful run by Kwadwo Poku to finish off the first half. You just wonder as to whether or not they can find some more positive play coming out of the middle. It's going to have to happen during the rain, though, as you can tell by what's going on with our camera.
Folks, I'm just going to level with you at this point. It is 25 mile an hour winds. Yeah. 50-degree wind chill. It is pouring in a way that is borderline difficult to put into actual verbal terms. It is so rainy that at this point with the wind, they have taken the dugouts away pregame, prevent them blowing over during the game by wind blowing into them, and as such, this camera will almost assuredly be an insurance claim by the end of the night.
Remember, coming in as well, we were told by local forecasters that are our friends, because we do have friends outside of this, and it wasn't a local forecaster. Okay. But we were told by most of the people coming out of the Lou City organization that the worst of it was going to start to occur right around 8:15. We're approaching that mark. The rain has picked up. The wind is starting to go there. And, of course, all the substitutes are just sitting out in all of it.
Well, it is the yellow jersey Blurs against the purple and black jersey Blurs. We'll make the best of it, shall we? Looking at a radar right now, and let's just say that the area, the cell that's currently about to come over Louisville, is about the same color as Tampa Bay's jerseys.
I'm no weatherman, but that doesn't look good.
Anywho, offside flag is up. To reiterate, all the Rowdies had to do to avoid this was beat Hartford to close the year. And they're in beautiful St. Pete, right on the bay. Louisville's going to have no problem at all with it if they can seal the deal and continue on. Lift it up toward Nkosana. For what it's worth, it's a balmy and sunny 81?
81.
81.
Carry the 10.
Okay. Yeah, I did that from centigrade. Ownby sending that forward for a streaking Antoine Hopino. Devin, what did you want to see out of the Rowdies out of the halftime break?
I didn't mind the steps that I started to see out of Poku, where you could see that he and Oduro started to acquire a bit of a different relationship where they were balancing each other off. It wasn't necessarily Oduro sitting all on his own. Poku was willing to step up and go forward more, and they've actually shifted their shape a little bit right now, where Jan Ekra has actually drifted back into the middle of the field next to Domaduro. Poku is now playing in that 10 role, and is that going to be the look going forward? You needed a different presence. You just wondered, were they going to look to guys like Zach Steinberg or Andrew Tenari coming off the bench? That's not the case right now, and I really respect Neil Collins for sticking with the boys that he's got on his field, because as we mentioned, there were a few good looks, just not many. But it gave you some sort of foundation to build on. The problem is you're climbing a hill that's 2-0 on the road against the back-to-back champions.
Jimenez got over Williams. McCarthy let that roll in front of him, and Ownby puts that on the upper deck. Score coming from elsewhere right now. Indy 11 at the mic is taking a lead over New York as a corner coming again for Louisville. Carl Ouimet has scored the 27th minute, and Indy 11 look like they're at home sweet home against the 2016 USL Championship winner.
Go figure for a team that hasn't necessarily been fantastic in the final third. Lean on one of your center backs. See, we're good for something other than defending.
They are.
Yes.
It's going to be a corner for Louisville.
Don't tell them about it.
See puddles forming. And this a foul before it really got started.
There's nothing you can do.
Winner of this game will probably go to Pittsburgh. 5-0 there. Runs out for a Rowdy throw. Richards. Mccarthy. Diakite. Ownby will provide pressure now. Floated up to Mccarthy. Sliding down was Tosh to knock it free. Corner Tampa Bay. Corner for the Rowdies. Winzati making a run out in front. It was aimed at him. Struck on a line by Barry. And the follow gets knocked wide of the post. There's Sean Barry. Played at Virginia. Went overseas to Germany. Devin, you want to pronounce that for me?
Frankfurt.
Yeah, okay. I know. I know. Pressure from Poku.
Still trying to figure out as to whether or not you're appreciating the pronunciation of proper German words or if you're mocking me. But either way, I'm more than keen to step up and do it.
Mccarthy. I mean, won goalkeeper of the year in this league back in 2014 and spent time in Philadelphia as well. Was released by the Union in 2018. Of course, they've got one of the best goalkeepers in CONCACAF on their payroll in Andre Blake, although their most recent game may not indicate as such. Snagged by Hubbard. Let's take a look at our vision works, what to look for.
Whether the storm is both figurative and literal, where everybody's got to deal with the elements, but this movement coming from Tampa Bay Rowdies, Neil Collins is going to up tempo here a little bit. He's asking for him right now. Let's go. We want to go quick. There's going to be a lot more pressure coming out of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And some of the better looks you saw from the visitors in the first half. We're going right down the middle of the field. Now, I'm not saying that needs to be the look forward, as this is where you need to go to some of the talented boys on the wings. Guenzati rotating back out, but Route 1 so far has been the best path to success for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Stoke that fire a little bit.
The route, like a highway or an interstate?
It's not an interstate.
Okay.
Turnpike.
Okay. Devin and I have been having an ongoing argument for a while now.
Well, you and I are in agreement. It's other people behind the scenes that we disagree with.
Yep.
It's a Twitter poll for ages, right? I'll throw that one up later.
The way it's going right now, these roads don't look like a highway or an interstate at all. They're probably going to end up looking a little bit place to ride a gondola. Mccarthy goes down. He is barking for a penalty. Not one he's going to get. It's going to be a corner for Tampa Bay.
You're going to get a much better look here, barking for the fact that he's taken to ground. I'll tell you what, he gets him. He gets that left foot. There's a little touch here by Mccarthy. He gets around the defender and is taken to ground. Referee misses one.
Ensuing corner, and Louisville charging forward through Ownby. Great slide to lead it to Poku. Well, this is only the second card we've seen on this day. It's going to go to Brian Ownby, and yellow card accumulation is always a concern in the playoffs. Very unforgiving in cup football.
Why Brian Ownby is the recipient of said yellow card. Yeah, there's a little push there. Pull the tug on the backside of the jersey. And again, just everything that has been an issue for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, whether it be the play, some questionable refereeing, and of course the rain. Questionable refereeing we're talking about was just a moment ago where Lucky Mccarthy got in. Watch this turn. Brings the ball back around. He's around touch. Watch the left foot right there. I'll tell you, the question is, does he get a touch on the ball right there before Mccarthy gets to it? Really difficult to tell because of the way it's bouncing in around the box. If he gets a touch on the ball, it's a follow through. I have no problem with it. But if he doesn't, and it's just the initial one from Mccarthy, then it's a penalty. Again, the angle and the rain, too difficult to tell.
Diakite steers it aside. Bit of a chase there from Holpino. Holpino takes over. Slid back where McCabe gave chase. Taken away by the man who scored a first half brace, and it was clocked at 76 seconds. Magnus Rasmussen came in the midway point of the opening half. This game right now is yearning for the Rowdies to find a goal. Put it back in play a bit. Louisville has silenced Tampa Bay a bit as it stands. You mentioned how they blew out Bethlehem with 6 goals, but the surrounding 6 games for the Rowdies, a total of 6 goals in that time. They're missing their 2 best offensive wing players, including Leo Fernandez, who played for John Hackworth in Philadelphia and had his utmost respect. Also missing Andrew Tenari, who's coming off injury and hasn't entirely looked like himself. An unforced error here for Louisville. Quick throw in by Taku. Oduro. Morad. Ekra on the move, taken away by Williams. Ownby. Perfectly done by Diakite.
There's a little shift here by the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They brought Sean Barry out of that left midfielder position. He's gone to right back. Move Tarek Morad over to the left back position, and now Richards moves into the middle.
Mccarthy quite low enough to find any of the heat-seeking missiles in the box, and not quite close enough to get into the net.
Niall McCabe, one of the guys for Louisville City, who always seems to surround himself in the talking point of versatile. You can get some of that out of Caleb Richards as well. Now, it's a different player, I understand, but the reference I'm making here is taking Caleb Richards, kind of rotating everything, and putting him into that left wing back position gives you the ability here where you can kind of cheat a little bit on that left-hand side, push him up into the middle, but he can give you coverage as well. So when some of this starts to break down with Hopino and Lou City pushing into that right-hand side, Caleb Richards can actually shield back in and create a 4-back of sorts. More importantly, that's where he started last match out against Hartford Athletic. He's gone back and forth as they've had to deal with injury to Leo Fernandez. Talked about that, as we mentioned earlier on. Only Johnson, of course, picked up the red card versus Hartford. That's probably one of the bigger losses they've run into outside of Leo Fernandez. And when you don't have both of them on the field, one you can get away with, but 2 of them, they're really struggling for a presence in the midfielder role, whether it be on the interior or on the outside wing position. And you could just see the guys coming to the middle right now. That's Zach Steinberger, and you've got Juan Tejada as well. Would imagine that's got to be for Mccarthy, and the way that they've shifted this out, Jan Ecker would come off, Poku would stay on, Steinberger would go into the middle.
Saw the scores there a moment ago. Pittsburgh, the 4th team this year to score 5 or more and a half. They're up 5-0 midway through the second half against Birmingham. Indy leads at the break over Red Bulls 2 in Indianapolis. Carl, we met in the 27th, and Nashville has taken a lead over Charleston. 10th minute goal from Lebo Melodo. And it's very possible, after both play-in games were won by the road team, that all 4 of the top seeds in the East are going to get through. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. Steinberger for Ekron. Perhaps that's a sign that Andrew Tenari's availability tonight, maybe even less than we had anticipated. Tejada comes on in place of Sean Barry. Sub brought to you by MHS Global, and that almost assuredly has to come with some concept of system change.
They'll move Tejada into the midfield on the outside wing position, most likely. And just watch the relationship between he and Zach Steinberger now, because Tejada can tuck down in as well. But with Barry coming off, that'll be the call to Caleb Richards to drop even further back and help out next to Morad.
There's McCarthy.
And the true question is here is, are they going to stay with those 3? Is that the way that they're going to try and finish this thing out, where with Diakite, Morad, and Caleb Richards. If that's the case, you can see it right now that Taku's actually rotating himself to the back.
Well, we're looking down at the bench now, and I think the info on the board, the info we got, not quite on the same page. I think that's Mccarthy on the bench. And so that is the sub we really did anticipate.
This thing's a little bit easier on us, right? Instead of playing musical chairs.
Oh yeah, so much easier. Indeed, Mccarthy there on the bench. 64 minutes gone. Taku leaning in front for a double-digit goal scorer that came literally out of nowhere in Juan Tejada. For Tejada again, a trialist not too long ago. Steinberger. Morad. Richards. Tried to get by Holpino, couldn't squeeze by. Tejada kept it in at the end line, circulates around. Ball floated across. Taku on the run. Great touch leading from McCabe. Couldn't play through Ombi. Zadi a bit short. Poku. And before that, the foul on the push on McCabe going down.
It's a foul. 100% comes up over the back here, and Taku just overextending his elbow a little bit. Now McCabe's a tough boy. He'll be just fine. 25 minutes to go here for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Just looking for a spark of any sort. Steinberger and Juan Tejada coming on. Extracurriculars going on just outside of the lens, having a quick little chat about what may be.
Can you read lips? You want to give it a shot? No?
Stopped listening to referees a long time ago.
Fair enough. Rod Dadko coming over to the sideline, gesturing. And on we go. Steinberger did enough to lead it forward, sweeps it upfield further. And lobbing, trying to get Hubbard off his line. And Taku hoping that was going to get swept up in this rain. And the 20-mile-an-hour winds, Hubbard had it covered.
25 minutes in the first half. You asked me when they started to push forward about the bad decision-making when it was 2-3 guys against an entire pack of purple jerseys. How could they counteract that? This is really well done by Zach Steinberger. He just picks his head up, steps on it, also recognizes that everybody's in an offside position.
Tejada. Well, this has been drastically better from the Rowdies, at least getting numbers into the attack in the last, what, 5-10 minutes, especially since the subs.
Yep, Juan Tejada, the guy that you wondered, was it going to be Mccarthy or Juan Tejada? They went with the first one. Mccarthy just wasn't necessarily that spark that they were looking for. Gwenzati, a guy who almost always going to be in the 11. And who is the running mate going to be? On Tejada, nice little addition so far.
Played toward Morad. Be another corner for Tampa Bay. No reason to think the Rowdies can't get back in it. They've had their backs against the wall in remarkably similar circumstance before. Found a way to get a result. Bounding ball again, this time headed out for a goal kick. Masoso, which is that leak over to Rasmussen. Luke Spencer tugging his jersey on for Louisville. McCabe for Omby. Devin, it is kind of remarkable right now. Louisville's incredible turnaround has kind of come without a true number 9. They trade away on Kosana, bring in Hopino. Abdou-Jam at the start of the year, not a true number 9 in the hold-up play and get in behind kind of sense, more in his rotation. Brian Omby's been starting up there of late. Luke Spencer's kind of been an option off the bench to give you that traditional striker. Yellow cards coming out for that challenge.
Your option off the bench is still almost nearing double-digit goals for the season again.
Yeah,
it's not the worst thing, and this is a cause for concern. Look at Niall McCabe standing over Rasmussen, took one off the back here, and immediately the Louisville players running over, trainers coming out to check on him. So you get a better look of everything that goes on. There's a really good idea. Oh, two big bodies in the middle field colliding. You can see him just motioning to that kind of right temple area, if you will. Much better look, though. Quick little drink of water and get back at it.
It's Hopino who comes off for Louisville. And will it be too little too late from Andrew Tenari? Try and turn this around. Yellow card to Poku, presented by Four Roses Bourbon. Got a lot of housekeeping to do here, Devin. Tenari comes on, Spencer comes on, Akra comes off, and Hopino comes off. For Louisville, Spencer for Hopino, brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. That is their first change. And Tenari for Akra, sub brought to you by MHS Global, as their third and final change. Menez wants to play quickly. City fans can get their team merchandise, including the October scarf for the month, kits, hats, flags, more LouisvilleCityFC.com. Any home game, permanent location in 4th Street Live. Sports and gear, Support your team. Louisville hoping for another home game, but it won't come in the next round. And the current results around the league would indicate the next time they could potentially host, given that seeds 1, 2, and 3 all currently lead, would be a potential USL championship final, and only if Phoenix and Reno failed to make it that far. So this is seemingly, assuredly, the end of Slugger Field, barring some pretty huge upsets along the way. Scooped up by Hubbard.
Look at the rain in the background. 15 minutes to go. Has Neil Collins the appropriate moves to give themselves a shot down the stretch here? They are gambling for sure. Diakite on the right, sitting next to Tarek Morad. It's gone into a 4 of sorts with Taku on the right-hand side. There's a lot of space to be had here. Problem is are they opening themselves up to a counter? I don't mind the look whatsoever. The problem is you're still within striking distance within 15 minutes to go. Are you giving yourself enough coverage defensively if this thing goes south?
Rowdies putting, as he mentioned, so many numbers forward. They track back well. And Louisville will be content to go into possession now. Played ahead, Rasmussen to turn this whole game on its head. Cabe, Jimenez, Williams, Jimenez again. Good interchange here. Rasmussen, whose 2 goals in less than 80 seconds may have simply wrecked the Rowdies' postseason ambitions. The Riverhounds have made it 7. The extra point from Nico Brett was good. What do you call 4 goals after a hat trick? Ryan Davis, the Rowdies analyst, gave me a term for it, and it's escaped me.
Free bar tab. That's what that is, my friend. It's like a hole-in-one. You guys are buying. Sorry about you.
Oh. Now between the legs of Steinberger. Oh my, how did Jimenez keep that in? Jimenez turning the corner, cutting back, looking for Ownby. Further by Taku. Slip ball by Rasmussen, intercepted en route to Spencer. Ownby able to do a 360, jumping over Morad, his former teammate. And floated up. Spencer brought it down. Well, maybe he saw what Michael Orozco did earlier today for Orange County, but he couldn't pull it off.
The difference is for Luke Spencer, this one should have ended up in the back of the net. All the hard work was done. Great little run in back behind. He's able to bring it down onto the ground. And the problem is you got to catch this flat on the surface. Instead, that little one hop causes him a bunch of problems. John McCarthy grateful for the fact that this isn't 3.
Paulo Del Piccolo is waiting to check in for Louisville. Devin, it's maybe a hair too early to opine how Paulo Del Piccolo could fit into the tactical game plan against a team like Pittsburgh a week from now. But as he comes on now, can't help but enter your conscious just a little bit.
It's a good problem to have. You know, think about it that earlier on this season, you didn't have George Davis IV, no Luke Spencer. Del Piccolo has been out twice this year, most recently with that LCL issue. Finally making his way back as Brian Ownby, another one of those injury issues. His concussion problems coming back in. He's made his way back, but the shift that you're going to have to make, bottom line, it's a different shape. And that's all that matters. But it does give you the luxury of sitting one. You can drop two. You can go flat in the middle. Play the 4-2-3-1. They still have the ability, by the way, and we've seen it in recent matches. Now it's been necessity. They can jump back into a three-back system and overload the middle with 5-6 players. Their ability to shapeshift is one of the reasons why they continuously give themselves a chance to succeed.
It's kind of fun talking with John Hackworth. He almost sounds like a mad scientist. And of course, we joke about wanting to see what's in his notebook, but I really do. This is settled. And a rocket on the ground will bounce back out to Odoro.
Tried to pick the combination once, but I couldn't get in.
Okay, it's a diary. Yeah. Ball played in front, Guenzati! How about this? The Rowdies have one back. Life for Tampa Bay. And they've got their eyes on a plane ticket to the Steel City.
You wondered where it was going to come from. Juan Tejada, the youngster, rookie, has been the one who gave this team life. But the luxury of Guenzati was always something. Could you find a way to pump numbers forward to him? Who was going to give him the opportunities to lift this team up? They only needed a finite amount of opportunities back in that September 28th matchup. They got 2 goals in the span of 3 minutes back then. Now they've got one back. And you just start to wonder, Lou City, were they too far down the road? Already looking at Pittsburgh. There's 10 minutes to go. Strap yourselves in.
For those who are watching on ESPN Plus in a 3-box right now, you saw 3 goals go in within 60 seconds of real time. Zico Lewis, a penalty, has leveled it for Charleston. Reno, through Corey Herzog, is led. Ball played across, and all of a sudden, all the tension is back in this game. And now Spencer, fresh legs, trying to charge by, and the Musketeer makes his run. Levels it off. Speedy Williams one pass further, and maybe a bit of selfishness could have taken that a long way.
You reference veteran leadership and guys like Sebastian Guenzati, Paulo Del Piccolo in the middle field. Corey Herzog from Reno was an interesting one. I listened to an interview earlier today, and he had such a calmness about him when asked about what's this like for your team and going forward and kind of your best year. He said, yeah, you know, I'm having a great year, but this is honestly, I've been here before. All I have to do is what I've done in the past and stick to myself. Right off the bat, he gets himself one back. And how about the Tampa Bay Rowdies? They're looking for another one right now. Guadua Poku playing in that advanced position. Tell you what, there's blood in the water.
The rain has slowed just a bit. It's been torrential, this downpour, all day. Inches and inches of rain has turned to a drizzle for now. Taku, the corner. Not nearly good enough service to pressure Louisville. Play continues on. It's out from Taku again. Played over the top by Tenari. And this header speared out for a goal kick. The tactical and personal adjustments around that man right there 20 minutes ago changed the entire nature of this game.
Well, it's also interesting what he's done to surround him with it. So you push the young talent up next to Guenzati, a lot of high energy, and the two play off of each other. Zach Steinberger comes out to the right-hand side, but what they're doing is actually overloading with central midfielders. So they've gone into, it's still a 3, you're cheating a little bit with Caleb Richards on the left side, where they can rotate back over and turn it into a 4, but they've got 4 pretty much attacking midfielders right now, outside of Damaduro, who can still push forward, trying to overload the middle and get more service up to the top. All of it stemming from that man right there, Juan Tejada. So you're looking for Andrew Tenari, Kwadwo Poku, Zach Steinberger. Look at Poku playing really high right now and allowing 3 guys underneath him, and they're just continuing to apply the pressure, making it really difficult for Lou City to play out of the back. John Hackworth screaming at the bench, not happy.
Trying to figure out a way to stem this tide. Of course, there are no draws in the playoffs. You don't play again next week. You go to extra time and penalties. Ball for Guenzati, who acrobatically leapt up to try and get a hold of it. Kept by Taku. Laid off in front. Poku. Poku keeps it. Deflects across. Settled. Shot deflected out. Corner. And these Rowdies look nothing like the Rowdies of the last 3 weeks. Nothing like the Rowdies of the first hour.
We're not for a challenge of Napo Masoso. We'd be knotted up at 2s. And sometimes you just got to put it in the mixer and go after it. Steinberger thought he was going to hit this first time, to be honest, but he's trailing away from it, so it's a difficult ball to bring down. Still has quality patience to get a nice strike off. And now we're going to do battle. Let's have a little fun. Paco Craig, Kwadwo Poku, all the big boys mixing it up in a bit with just around 5 minutes to go.
This is one of those rare games. Paco Craig doesn't have a yellow yet, so
easy.
Yeah. Diakite walked out with him. Diakite and Morad are on the goal line. Curling effort. Diakite rose up to it, and there's nobody back for Louisville. The Rowdies will recharge with 5 minutes to go in a game that for about 70 minutes looked moribund. Bouncing through, Taku watches this out. Louisville is going to make a change. Akhil Watts, no relation, comes on and replaces Magnus Rasmussen. What a 76 seconds this was.
Really? 2 goals just like that, almost in similar fashion as well. Magnus Rasmussen, he's having some kind of year, huh? I mean, 8 goals, 5 assists in 15. Can we find a way to make some of that happen? Remember, he was the guy who was just a role player coming into the year. Quality shift for that young man, and Lou City just hanging on for dear life right now. Akhil Watts, the youngster who so many repetitions with the youth national team. John Hackworth knows him very well, brought him in outside back position, can play in the middle of the field as well.
Sub brought to you by MHS Global Above and Beyond. That's their 3rd change. So barring extra time, that's the end of the line there for both teams.
Tonight's Dr. Mark Levin Associates Vision Works Man of the Match, voted by you, is number 7, Magnus Rasmussen.
Magnus Rasmussen announced player of the match in the stadium. And if it stands, there's no doubt about that. If the Rowdies find another, well, here we go. Thrown in aimlessly, and Paco Craig is there. McMahon out wide has to dance back. Morad guaranteeing to the referee. Louisville gotten a piece of that. No, throw for Louisville. Have 2 minutes plus stoppage to see out.
Target man Kwadwo Poku is just staying up top right now. Well over 6'1", looking to play him as the target man and allow Guenzati and Wantahada to play off of some of this quick fire movement coming out of the backside. Where Caleb Richards playing a higher and higher line. Andrew Tenari shifting over to help him out. Taku on this right side is the one that's gambling the most, though. You can see him just sitting next to Diakite there on the near side of your screen. Niall McCabe drifting in behind. But as this ball comes over back through, he's trying to push up and attack the midfield. Here he goes, pushing numbers forward and really going after Lou City on this left side.
Brought down by Tejada. And there's Del Piccolo arriving, and Craig gets brought down, and Guenzati runs to the official to plead his case.
Really looked like the two Louisville City players ran into each other a little bit, though. You see a bunch of yellow jerseys bouncing around there. You get a better look about the challenge. Del Piccolo going up in, not afraid, coming back, and tell you what, referees had a couple tonight. The penalty or not early on, that's not a foul, I can tell you that much. Guenzati doesn't even leave his feet. Paco Craig actually comes up over the back.
Watts. Well done by Tenari. Time running down, and one wonders how much time we'll have from here. Feels like large in part this has been a pretty swift half.
The clock has stopped. 90 minutes additional time is being kept up.
5 added minutes.
That's a gift.
Sullivan University stoppage. There are some boos for the fourth official.
You gotta wonder, where does the 5 minutes come from? So Rasmussen goes to ground, but that stoppage wasn't that long.
Tenari. Ball lobbed over for Steinberger, headed away. Slide in further, Taku. Buckle in, folks. This has all the makings of a wild 4.5 minutes. For Steinberger, down goes Tosh. The Steinberger foul.
Everything now will be that much longer to get to. Steinberger doesn't agree with. Chris Hubbard will come over. Everybody's going to take a longer step now and try and kill this clock off. Do they have the wherewithal to allow all this to go away and then put it on the deck and play? There's no reason to. Knock this thing long. Let somebody go up and win it for you. And just make every second count right now, because Tampa Bay Rowdies look obsessed. This is a totally different team over the last 20 minutes.
The hold up by Guenzati. And the takeaway by Tosh. Floated ball for Spencer, touched out by Morad. Akhil Watts. That's a clean play, says the referee. And here come the Rowdies. They've only beaten Louisville once. And believe you me, they've tried. 6th all-time meeting, played back. And Taku couldn't combine. And Tenari spins out. And rightfully a simple throw for Louisville. Tenari coming off the bench in this game, coming off of an injury a few weeks ago. A man whose magic has orchestrated significant results for the Rowdies this year. Pittsburgh has finished one of the more lopsided drubbings in recent playoff history and ended their own playoff drought 7-0 against Birmingham. Lofted up beyond Hubbard and out. 2 minutes to go.
They're giving him a deflection here. Referee points to the corner flag. That was difficult off the initial ball knocked in. Hubbard felt like he was the one that was going to get a time to go the other direction, just kill some more of this clock off. Taku's going to go to the corner. And where's 88? That's my man, Poku, standing right at the top of the 6. That's the target man. And look at 13, Gwenzati. He can really fly.
Can the Rowdies level it here in the final minute? Headed along and across the top of the 6. McCarthy was all the way up. The goalkeeper got the touch. And this is floated from full field. McCarthy will take it into the box, and we've got a minute to go. Spencer tried to spin it back into the attacking half and couldn't. Taku off of McCabe. Taku has to take it back.
Some of this is becoming a bit too predictable. You want to put balls in the box, but pick it up, release right away. When you take too long, everybody's tracking back, allowing the bodies to get a good tackle in.
Tejada for Poku. It's a throw, and the Rowdies know time is running out. Poku. The cut inside. Poku. Chance now, deflects back from Odoro. Another one on the ground. Will get wide and lead to a corner. And this has to be it for the Rowdies. McCarthy is racing upfield. One more service to save their season, or Louisville's going to Pittsburgh next weekend. The 6th and final minute of stoppage. Floated. A little punch. McCarthy. Full time. And Louisville's impenetrable fortress once again stands up. Louisville's going to Pittsburgh next weekend, and the Rowdies' season is over.
Valiant effort by the visitors in the second half to try and make their way back into this match. When you give yourself that much of a mountain to climb, going down 2-0 in the span of 76 seconds on the road at Slugger against the back-to-back champions, all that is just exhausting to say, yet alone to have to get back into a game. 20 minutes of positive play out of the Tampa Bay Rowdies gave them a shot. A seed of doubt planted by their captain, Gwenzati, in the 80th minute. You felt like, okay, maybe there's a chance here, but never enough. And just like that, Louisville City are headed to another conference semifinal.
Magnus Rasmussen, man of the match, presented by VisionWorks. 2 goals in 80 seconds that derails the Rowdies.
He deserved it. But to be fair, everybody's going to look at the goals. They don't look at the middle of the field and what he was able to do. There's a good shot of Paco Craig, their center back. Needed better play out of him. He, Sean Tosh, Jimenez, and McMahon. To be honest, their back line wasn't really tested at all in the opening 45 minutes. But that's not just rain that you see. That's blood, sweat, and tears put in by the reigning champions. It was a rough second half. A lot asked of them, but they rose to the occasion. They're moving on. Neil Collins and the Rowdies headed home.
Louisville now 12-0-0 at home in the playoffs. They knock off the Rowdies. We'll wrap it up after this.
At Dr. Mark Leonard Associates, I focus on taking care of my family, but I also focus on taking care of your family. We firmly believe that you've got to give back. Our primary goal is to do what's right for the patient. If that means glasses, contacts, or treating an eye condition, we will be sure you get the care that you need. We want to take care of you the same way we take care of all our family. This is our family. And here at Dr. Mark Lind and Associates, we're focused on your family, the community, and most importantly, your vision.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Wind out of the west, fishing's best. I mean, that's, every fisherman knows.
I like that
saying.
saying.
You that.
I'm going to use that on TV.
Nice weather is not the best fishing conditions. You a lot of times want some wind, you want some cloud cover. If you have full sun and you're fishing clear water, it's really, really, really hard to catch fish. Oh, we got a fish on.
Well, we've got some good weather and we've got our first fish of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Chad, you've been out on the water since you were a kid. I know there's been a time when a storm came up and got you.
You know, when you work every single day outside and you have conditions that may not be favorable for a camera, sometimes you have to know exactly what the weather's going to do. You may have to cancel, you may have to change your plans.
Every single kind of weather element plays a huge factor.
Pressure, wind, temperature.
I think I need to catch another fish.
I rely on the weather and I tune into WDRB. An accurate forecast is crucial to productive fishing.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But Family Allergy and Asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Welcome back post-game. And the Purple family that did come out are going to enjoy it. This is probably the last time they're going to see this building for soccer. Given current results, it does appear that they will not be able to host again. Louisville City 2 and Tampa Bay 1 with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts. Let's take a look at our Toyota move of the match. Toyota, let's go places.
Beautiful play. Sometimes you just have to sit back and say, well done. This is something that when you go watch Lou City train, if you ever get the opportunity, even though it's always behind closed doors, they always work on the trailing run, triangular movements off of each other, executed to a T. Don't care that it was over the portion of 76 seconds because that's all they needed. They had the better run of form. They looked great in the first half. Second half didn't necessarily start as well, but this is that first goal. Magnus Rasmussen coming off of Niall McCabe, 23rd minute, 1-0 Lou City. So you think, okay, they've gotten their opening goal. How is the Tampa Bay Rowdies, how are they going to respond? Are they going to have a comeback punch? No, unfortunately, they got knocked to the mat by guess who? Rasmussen. 76 seconds later, this one came off. Another ball from the inside. Quick little flick by Brian Ownby. Ends up in the back of the net. 2-0. Okay, is the train going to leave the station and never turn back around? No, it does turn back around. Unfortunately, it was only for about 15, 20 minutes in the second half. At the tail end of the second half, Gwenzati, 80th minute. Kwadwo Poku, he was my man of the match for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Really thought that he gave them the opportunity to stay in this game. Now that man right there, Juan Tejada, had a lot of electric energy coming on in the second half, but they would really only muster a few chances. This was probably the best one. There's the strike just on the inside. That comes off the chest of guess who? Sean Tosh. That right there might be your MVP for Lou City. A lot of people could argue with me, but the amount of positions that he's played and how vital he's been, game-saving challenges, Sean Tosh once again answers the call.
Here are your full-time stats. if they got there behind Phoenix and Reno in the West. It started raining, and then it kept raining, and then it came down in buckets. And I mean, it was a deluge for 90 minutes. But thanks for sticking with us. Producer Ryan Rose, Director Gage Tillotson, Aaron Falero, Henry Reyes, and our crew that's been with us all season long, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts saying, use your noggin. It's 2-1 Louisville over Tampa. So long.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
The Toyota Military Rebate gives the brave men and women of the U.S. military and their families an additional $500 over and above all current Toyota offers. Eligible personnel include current active duty and inactive reserves, veterans honorably discharged within the last 2 years, and now retired military, regardless of time since retirement. The additional $500 can save you $2,250 on Tacoma. Toyota thanks you for your service. Toyota, let's go places.
For some, it's skydiving.